Yeah.
Leading the kingdom way. Leading the kingdom way. Leading the kingdom way. Leading the kingdom way.
Oh my god, that is so funny. I don't even know if that did share that. Yeah, there it is. Hello, family. You are tuning in to a very special edition of Dating the Kingdom Way, where we help kingdom citizens date and relate by divine design. So welcome to the show. We are your host. I'm Brianna G. Whitaker, award-winning author, speaker, and promoter of godly relationships. And I'm here with my awesome co-host and the best husband ever, Russell Whitaker.
What's up, audience? My name is still Russell. I'm still bringing that Holy Ghost energy to you live right here. So we're glad to be back. It's been a while. We miss you guys, and we hope this becomes a thing again.
Indeed. And like he said, it has been a long time since we have seen you all in this way. Life happens, had a lot going on, new baby, just a lot of things happening. But nevertheless, we never forgot about you all, and wanted to take this opportunity to present what we hope to be some very beneficial information for you. And so we're excited. We're excited for this special edition that has been inspired by these unprecedented times of social distancing. Right. And so, and you might be thinking, it's kind of ironic, because I know I was thinking it's kind of ironic to be talking about social distancing in regard to your spouse, somebody who lives in the same house as you, right? But it is totally possible to feel miles apart, even though you still live under the same roof.
Right.
Yeah. You agree, right?
Yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, it can happen. How many of you has it ever happened to? I see we have a couple of viewers on. And again, thank you all for joining in to the show. And I also want to say too in advance, thank you to those of you who are going to watch this in the replay. And if you are watching it in the replay, just do #replay so we'll know that you are in that replay audience. But again, welcome to Dating the Kingdom Way. Thank you all for hanging out with us tonight. For this very special edition. So again, this show tonight is especially for those of you who have had moments of disconnection with your spouse because of all of the stress caused by this pandemic. Okay, honey, what would you say would be some of the stressors that have come along with this COVID-19?
Well, I see people are worried about losing their jobs or not be able to go back to work, or when they get back to work, will the job still be there?
Right.
How will this affect their loved ones, their elderly ones, their children? I mean, will my children catch it? Will my mother catch it? Will my grandmother catch it?
Right.
All kind of thing. It's like when you go out, who's got it? You're looking, why does he have a mask
have
on?
You crazy.
Should I get next to him? Or people walking down the aisles, trying not to look at each other like I'm back in New York.
Wow.
No eye contact. Don't look at them.
And it's kind of hard to speak to people when you have the mask on. It's like, how can I show that with my eyes that I'm speaking? But anyway.
What?
Okay.
What? How are you doing today?
Okay. So yeah, that brings stress in and of itself. And then you have the stress of, say, essential workers. I mean, I can't even imagine what essential workers, particularly medical staff, are experiencing during this time, how much stress they're having to deal with. You've got maybe, you mentioned job loss, but maybe
Right.
you haven't lost your job, but you're having to work from home. And so now you're trying to balance working from home with all of the distractions in the home.
Right.
Hello? Is anybody else experiencing that besides me?
Mm.
You
Especially
have
if you got kids.
small kids.
They don't care if you on a computer or not, you working or not. They
Nope.
hungry.
Just
They want
disrespectful.
your attention.
Yep, they sure do. And you've got, as an educator, the homeschooling, right? You're now trying to teach your children from home, something that you've never had to do. Not to mention being stuck in the house all day, every day.
And not an educator, you still got to teach your children from home. So you're like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Still have to do it.
Yeah,
exactly.
Teach your kids
exactly. So you see, there's a lot of stress happening, and it can get out of control if you let it.
Right.
Okay, so this show is about how not to let the stress of what's going on right now impact your relationship, because it really can. These things really can put a strain on your relationship if you do not practice emotional connecting. Right? You've got social distancing outside of your home, but inside your home, we need to be practicing emotional connecting. Right? So, I guess we'll just share like a little story. Again, thank you all for watching. Our viewers here, feel free to send up some hearts, some likes. Feel free to share this with someone that you feel would benefit from this information. Tag someone in it. Tag your BFF or whatever, so that we can get this encouragement out to as many people as possible. We appreciate that. But we'll kind of just share a little story about how this topic came up for us, okay? Because again, we're talking about something that we have experienced as well, being a married couple. So it was about maybe like a week and a half to 2 weeks ago. Right. It was a typical night, right before bedtime. Russell was watching a show on Hulu, and I had my MacBook computer on my lap, and we were both in the bed, but I was doing some schoolwork, and he was watching his television show. And then when we both, got done doing what we were doing, turned the lights out, said goodnight, I love you, and went to sleep, right? Like we typically do. And what I noticed was like a couple of hours later, he got up, and, I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to the bathroom. It's, no biggie, whatever. Turned over, went back to sleep. And then like I was awakened again by him getting out of the bed another time that night. And, I just asked him, I said, honey, are you okay? And he was like, I'm just hungry. And so apparently he went downstairs and he got something to eat and, all of this stuff. But I just kept noticing that he was getting up. So the next day, we did have an opportunity to talk about it. And I said, well, honey, what was going on last night? I noticed you didn't sleep very well. That's not typically, what you do. And what was your response to me?
Well, I was like kind of telling you like, man, we're becoming like roommates, like best friends. Like, where's the passion in our relationship? Like when we first had it, it's like, it doesn't even matter to you anymore. And I'm feeling like neglected because she's got like 1,000 things to do and before bed. And it's like, she's not coming to bed. Like, is she avoiding me? Or what's really going on here?
Right. So he didn't feel, like he said, that I cared about what he cared about. Right. Which in that moment was, I guess, being intimate. And so, and I shared with him. Now, I didn't share this with him that particular time, but later we did talk about the full scope of it. But, I let him know that it's not that, I wasn't interested per se. It was just that I had so many other things on my mind that intimacy was just not at top of mind. It was not the top of mind. Right. And then I told him a little bit later on that honestly, I kind of wasn't feeling him in that moment because I had been interpreting some of his actions as him not caring about the stressful parts of our situation. So he didn't think that I cared about being intimate, and I thought that he didn't care about all the things that were happening around us. Okay, i.e., homeschooling, working from home, all these other things that were literally stressing me out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it were probably stressing him out too, but I was misinterpreting his actions as not caring. So for me, I was like, it's whatever. It is what it is. Right.
You don't care. I don't care. Keep it real.
But we'll talk a little bit later on about, how we had to work through how the two of us managed stress.
Yeah.
But in other words, we were both feeling disconnected. In that moment, we were disconnected. And we believe that the root cause of that disconnection was stress.
Mm-hmm.
The stress that we were dealing with.
Being the enemy.
And the enemy. You cannot leave him out. Can't leave him out. And we are not ignorant of his devices.
Right.
Hence what we had to do. And hence the topic, the reason for this show tonight. Hello, Mr. Elijah Bradford. I see that you're watching. Thank you so much for watching tonight. Again, if you guys have any comments or any questions or anything like that, go ahead and put them in the comments. Like, share, heart it up. If this is blessing you, let us know. All right. So of course we have to take it to the word as well.
Right.
Okay. Because
always.
The word is always the basis of anything that we do here on this show, because this is a kingdom show. But Matthew 19:6, the Good News Translation says, so they are no longer two, but one. No human being must separate then what God has joined together. And for us, those human beings are also the two people that are in the marriage, right? So We're talking about outside people should not separate a marriage. Neither should the individuals who are married. They shouldn't do anything to try to separate the marriage either. So what the Whitakers had to do, right, was find some tangible ways to care for and strengthen our marriage and strengthen our union, even in this stressful situation.
Right.
So again, that's what we're talking about tonight. So yeah, why do we have 9 reasons? Why do we have 9?
Because God has blessed us with 9 years of marriage.
Woo, woo!
It was
Number
April 11th, 2000.
See.
April
He messed it up already.
2011. My bad. Or I could say last Thursday, we celebrated our 9th anniversary.
Yes. 9 beautiful years together.
Amen.
9 years together. So in honor of our 9th wedding anniversary, we are going to share 9 ways to stay connected to your spouse while social distancing. Okay. So
Sorry, beat me, but it's okay.
I did not do okay. I didn't do that. But yeah, so 9 ways. And we're gonna get it started, so we don't keep you guys here all night, because you know that it's late, and we appreciate you hanging out with us again. But the very first thing, and it goes without saying, that any married couple, kingdom couple, should do if they find themselves being disconnected is to pray. Prayer changes things. Come on, church. Prayer changes things, and prayer works miracles. There's power in prayer. There's power in prayer. And when we first, kind of started getting into this social distancing thing, I was led to pray, particularly for family relationships, because this is a time where a lot of people were vulnerable. A lot of people were vulnerable, right? You're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know from day to day what's going to happen. We're waiting on the governor. We're waiting on the president. Hey, Candace, to give us updates. And so it's like a time of vulnerability. And I realized that the enemy, who you mentioned earlier, right, can take advantage or try to take advantage of people's vulnerability.
He works in confusion.
Exactly. And try to kind of wiggle his way into to drive a wedge in a relationship. And so I began to pray for families in particular praying that we would have peace in our home, praying that, God would show us how to use this time together to build each other up, not tear each other down with our words, because we're frustrated and we're angry and we're all on top of each other in this house and all this kind of stuff, that he would give us wisdom to be able to use kindness and use kind words to speak to each other, and that we would use this opportunity to get closer to him, and then in getting closer to him, we also get closer to each other.
Right.
And I'll say this too, Philippians 4:6, also in the Good News Translation, says, don't worry about anything, but in your prayers, ask God for what you need, always asking him with a thankful heart. So again, I knew that this was going to be a trying time for us. It's a blessed time. Don't get me wrong. It is a blessed time, but it's a different time. Right. And so we were just asking God for the patience to endure this unprecedented time. So prayer is the most important thing, the first thing that you all ought to do.
And the Proverbs 3 and 5, always looking for direction from him, because he promises that if we seek him, he will give us direction. So
exactly,
always got to get on your knees and talk to God.
Always. He will never ever steer you wrong. If there's a problem, he ought to be the first person that we go to with it.
That's right.
And about it, right? Rather than getting on the phone,
right,
as we have a tendency to do, girlfriends, right? We need to go to God first and get his guidance before we do anything, especially when it comes to the mate that he put us with. All right. And so what's the next thing, babe?
Create a schedule, right? Plan out your day together. So, because sometimes, like, if you have a schedule, then not to plan certain things, or to plan certain things, like who turns it to watch the kids, because she's in school now, so she needs her privacy. She needs time to study. She needs time to do her homework. So if I'm off doing something and she's off doing something, then the kids are running wild. So you need to schedule your day. That means we can eat together.
Right.
We can have a conversation together. Even if we want to just go out and walk, schedule your day, and always be in mind of your mate, what they're doing and their schedule. That's why you should always try to schedule it together. Like, look, we got to do this. We got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. So
exactly,
we're not bumping heads, or we're not overflowing somebody with too much. Like while I'm chilling and she's doing this, that. No. You got to do this. I got to do it.
Exactly.
Not saying that everything got to be 50-50, but a schedule does help.
Right.
What up, sis?
Yes, a schedule does help. And Elijah says that we totally understand where you're coming from. 100. Yes. I knew we weren't the only one. In this house.
No.
Like,
Couldn't be.
So Candace says, I also worry and am prayerful for those who suffer from abuse. Listen, ma'am, listen, that is a whole nother topic altogether. We definitely need to be praying for those individuals who are in those traumatic situations. Bless them, adults as well as children. It's real. It is real. So we are going to be prayerful. Let's touch and agree on that, Candace, that God will cover those families and keep them during this time where they have no choice.
Right. But
they don't have a choice but to be together.
What's number 3, baby?
Yeah. Number 3 is unplug from electronics at certain times of the day. Why are you pointing at me?
I don't know.
Because you got a phone too? What's going on?
Go ahead.
Yes. So we have to unplug and we have to discipline ourselves. I have to discipline myself. We have to discipline ourselves. We got to discipline the children.
Right.
Oh, because the children on electronics all day too.
Tablets and nature cats.
Yes.
Kids.
But what we have tried to do is, at least, when we're having meals together, when we have breakfast together, when we have lunch or dinner, turn the electronics off and let's have a conversation. Let's talk about our day. Let's talk about what are we thankful for. Let's just look at each other, right? And enjoy each other's company. We need that. We need that for sure. Another thing too that he and I like to do is what we call pillow talk, right? And it's basically where we cuddle and we talk about our day. We talk about life. We just talk about things that we haven't had time necessarily to talk about during the day. Right. And that's a very important time, a time for us to connect.
And it's good because we're in a relaxed situation. There's no stress. We're relaxed. Most of the times I'm half asleep and she's awake, but still I'm there. And we just talk.
Yes. Know your spouse. Know your spouse.
spouse.
He's not a 12 o'clock at night talker. I'm wide awake right at midnight. And he's like, I can't talk right now, babe. Like, but you but it's time together. Right. It's time together.
That's where the scheduling coming in with. Maybe we could schedule, maybe 10, not 12.
Right.
We could have this conversation.
Right. And then what was the next thing? Because it sounds like it leads to another.
Talk about your dreams.
Okay.
Oh yeah, talk about your dreams together.
This is number 4. Number 4.
Yeah. Like, what do you want? What is our next house? How many rooms our next house gonna have?
Hey,
how big is your next car gonna be? When Trump sent me that money, when am I gonna buy? Trump, Donald, playing too much. But anyway, talk about your dreams. What you want?
Yes.
Together, what we gonna build together?
Right. How are we gonna use this money? What is our goal? Let's revisit our goal as a family for 2020.
Right.
What are we hoping to accomplish? Are we trying to get out of debt? Right? Are we trying to make this purchase? What is it? Let's just have that time to envision things and create our futures together.
You can't see it, you can't have it.
Right.
And it's always good to be on the same page.
Exactly. So now we're on number 5. Number 5. Again, number 1 was prayer. Number 2 was creating a schedule. Number 3 is unplugging from electronics at certain times of the day. Number 4 is talking and dreaming together. Maybe you have a business. We kind of talked about this a little bit too. Like, well, what kind of business at home can we get into, right? If you already have a business, you guys need to be planning and strategizing together about what's your next move. This is a perfect opportunity to do that.
The world is slowed down. You could think and just plan.
Exactly. So number 5, this is the 5th way to stay connected while you're social distancing, is to set boundaries for work and children. Setting boundaries for work and children. This kind of goes hand in hand with the electronics. But the reason why we said this is because, if you're a person that's working from home, it can be so easy, right? To work for hours and hours and hours in the day and never quit. Like, you could be working pretty much 24 hours a day or all of your waking time, just for the simple fact that you are always connected, right? You can always see emails, you can respond to emails, and all of those things are always available. So what you should do, and what I've tried to do, is know my working hours, 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. And that's when I'm available to answer emails, answer phone calls pertaining to work. And after that, I really try my best not to open those emails. And if I open them, I try my best not to respond. Because like I said, it could easily go over into dinner time, bedtime, whatever, that I'm still responding to these things, or I'm still thinking about work. And that when the time that I'm spending thinking about work and responding to emails is the time that he's not getting my attention.
Right. Or
the kids are not getting my attention. Or, he's feeling what he felt that night, neglected, which is never, my intent to do. It's just, again, so many things that you could be doing, even though you're at home.
Right.
So yeah, setting boundaries. And now the part about setting boundaries for the children, we haven't mastered that yet. We're still working on how to set boundaries with the kids. Our pastor told us, she told us a while ago, our bedroom should be our sanctuary, and the children should not have anytime access to our bedroom. Right?
But
them jokers do. Okay. And so we haven't mastered that. You know, our son will sneak in our bed every night if we let him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just wake up in the morning, it's like he's there. He's just there, knocked out. So, but I think it really would be beneficial to the marriage relationship if you do have those boundaries, if you establish those boundaries with your children. Like, listen, before you come in mommy daddy's room, you need to knock. Like, you don't just walk up in here.
Definitely.
Anytime you get ready, you need to knock before you come in, right? You don't just hang out here.
Though. You don't knock, but not at night though. When we sleep, he's like a little ninja. Next, he's in the bed under the covers. Again, snuggling with mom.
We just pray he don't get an eyeful. Okay. Listen. So yes, setting boundaries for your work and for your children. What's number 6, boo?
Number 6, working on projects together. Not only are you accomplishing something, but you're spending quality time with your mate, working together, talking together, laughing, having fun. And, you're getting things done around the house, if it's yard work, or we fixed our garage. We had a garage where we couldn't see anything but boxes, and we brought shelves and we put everything up, and we had a good time fixing and cleaning up our garage.
Yes, we really did. Project. It was very necessary.
Right.
It's very necessary. And, I really felt connected because, and I'll say this too, over the years, my love language has evolved. Like when we first got married, I was more of a, what is it called? More of a, touch.
Oh, touch.
What is it called?
Touch.
I was more of a touch person, right? That's how you can communicate love to be by touching me, right? I don't know if I was gifts. I think I was more touch and words of affirmation, but I'm still that.
Right.
But you're laughing a lot, Candace. She says she's laughing a lot, or am I laughing a lot? So in the beginning, that was more of my love language. But now, that we do have children, and there's a little bit more, a lot more, on my plate, work, ministry, kids, all these things. I think my love language has evolved to be more of acts of service.
Right.
And so, like, the more he helps me, the more I feel loved in this season. Right? Because I'm in the season where, listen, I'm having to ask for help. I'm having to let people help me. And it's very, very necessary. And so when we got in that garage together, it was like, yes, my man loves me because he's helping me. And because really the garage was something that I really felt strongly about getting done during this pandemic, but I needed his help to get it done. So when he stepped in to help me and moved the boxes and took things to the dumpster for me and all of that really communicated a lot of love to me. Right. And so I appreciate that.
And it was quality time. We got to talk, while we worked, we talked, took a lunch break together, sat there and looked in each other's eyes. It was real nice. I enjoyed cleaning the garage with you too.
Yay! All right, we got Shamise Rashonda in the house. Hey, girl. Y'all like and share, tag somebody in this if you think this is being a blessing, or somebody who needs to hear this about how to stay connected emotionally to your spouse during these social distancing times. Please do that. We appreciate it a lot. So we're on number 7. And is this me or you?
That's you.
This is me. Okay. So number 7 is have personal time. You got to have time for yourself. Okay. You got to have time for yourself. What did she say? Anthony and I are sharing time, laughing, and really enjoying each other's company. That is a blessing.
Oh, yeah.
Candace, we definitely need it. We can't take each other for granted in this season. Ever. We don't ever want to take each other for granted, but really during this time that God has literally given us to appreciate and love on our families, time that we've never had before. I mean, we really need to take full advantage and full opportunity of these precious moments.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, getting back to having personal time. This is about self-care. This is about self-care. You know, as much as I love this handsome guy and as much as I love my two precious children, I need some time alone, right? So what we've kind of arranged is that, you know, we're going to have at least an hour of just alone time by ourselves, right? And I typically try to use my hour working out, or reading or something like that. And I know you work out as well. What
Try
else?
to get in my word a little bit
Mm-hmm.
and watch TV.
Watch TV.
Without interruptions.
There's the TV.
Without interruptions. Why are they doing that? Or what he doing?
Why do men like the TV so much? Elijah, you're on here. Why do men like the TV so much? I just wonder that sometimes.
Hours, like a getaway.
Right. It's just
For
a
reality,
getaway.
right.
Get away. Well, listen, you got to get away. I gotta get away. I gotta get away. All right. Anyway, I digress. So having personal time. So that goes back also to that schedule.
Right.
Creating a schedule. Put it in the schedule. This is my time to just be by myself. Listen, I need you to get the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like I need you to get them kids, right? And I need to have just me time.
Right.
That means so much, and it is so needed. So Shami says, we're using your dating and waiting technique, which has been working really well for us, working towards godly love and all of what the kingdom has for us. Thanks for the motivation and visual inspiration. Girl, you are welcome.
Definitely.
So happy to hear that. So happy to hear that. And so number 8 is
go back down memory lane.
Back down memory lane.
Think about what got you here. Think about when you first saw her, you first saw him, why y'all fell in love, how y'all fell in love. I think Thursday, as I said, was our 9th anniversary, and we watched our wedding tape again.
Yes.
And I mean, the people we saw in it, the memories that it brought back. I mean, it was like, wow, look how young we look. Look at this, look at that. I mean, but it really was good to see. Like, yeah, I do love that woman, and that's why. And she read her vows, and it was just a beautiful thing, you know.
And he read his too.
I read mine.
Yeah, you know. So
it wasn't as good as hers because she's an author and a writer and a award.
But that's okay,
author.
baby. It's the thought. It's the thought. It's the thought that counts. So this day was very special, and some of you probably saw a post that I put up about how we celebrated our anniversary. And so, you know, typically on an anniversary, you know, you do the kind of typical stuff. I know, you know, we do. You know, you go out to eat, you know, maybe catch a movie or something like that. But this one was really special because we really got a chance to reflect.
Right.
Just reflect on our years together. And we didn't get cards this year. We actually wrote, you know, like our feelings from our heart to each other. And this was during the time where the children were napping. They were asleep. We had quiet time. And we just both individually just sat there and wrote down our thoughts about each other. And then we shared it with one another later on that night before we went to bed. But that was very touching for me. And another thing that we did was we looked at every year that we've been together, and we kind of pointed out some very special moments in every one of those years, you know, like a milestone. First year, this is what we did. The second year, this is what happened. This is all the way up to year 9. And y'all, I was in tears.
Like a baby.
Like I was in tears looking at that and talking about that, because I realized, man, this man and I have been through a lot of things. Good, bad, all of it we've experienced together. And it's like, I can't even imagine doing these things with anybody else.
Right.
And so I was very touched. And then, you know, just watching the wedding video together with our children and my mom. I mean, it was just a special moment. And I I think that might have been the first time that I've seen that wedding video from start to finish, because I cried on my wedding day.
A lot. Okay.
Y'all, I'm a little bit emotional. I'm a little bit emotional. I'm a
From
little bit of a
beginning to
water
end.
basket or bucket, right? But I get it from my mama. That's all I'm gonna say. I get it from my mama. But anyway, I watched the video, and it was just very heartfelt and very touching. And I
Tell
think
about the meal.
to me, that was the best anniversary celebration that we've had,
Right.
hands down. No gifts, none of that shishi foo stuff. Which, listen, there's nothing wrong with that. Those things are great, because I already told him what I want next year. I already told him year number 10 is the year of the diamond, but all that aside,
You going to a baseball game?
you got jokes.
Anyway, go
You
ahead.
got jokes. So yeah, but all those things are wonderful, and all those things have their place, and they can be meaningful as well. But just being able to reflect on your love together really made us feel close.
Thank you, sis. It was. I looked at it like, wow, we had a nice wedding.
We did.
And
Tell
the
them about
meal, the meal. I mean, we
Okay.
cooked together, more quality time and more sharing. I threw some steaks on the grill, and she made some vegetables and what did you make? Potatoes and
Yeah, we had
carrots.
baked potatoes.
and
We had like a
cream
steak dinner.
squash, and she cooked this little dessert, little chocolate. what do you call
Yes,
'em?
it was a molten
Oh
lava
my God.
cake
That thing been good.
a la
too, y'all.
mode with
Ooh.
the little chopped sliced strawberries, and like the strawberries make their own juice when you put the sugar on it. Yes,
And you cut it, the little
Ooh.
chocolate was coming out of it.
that was like an
That was
aphrodisiac.
bomb.
I'm just serious right now. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, yes, this is so delicious.
It was good.
It was delicious. So anyway, number
Nice.
nine, and this is really important. When you find yourself feeling disconnected because of stress, you really need to take the time to understand how you manage stress
Mhm.
and how your spouse manages stress.
Sure.
Because if you don't understand that, it can have both of you looking at each other, through with a crazy eye, right?
Right.
Because that's what happened to us. That's what caused our main disconnect, because I'm over here looking at him and seeing what he's doing, watching TV,
Taking
right?
a nap.
Taking some naps. And I'm like, what the devil? Like, what are you doing right now? Like, what are you doing right now? I'm over here trying to do this. Look, we got this going on. We had that going on. How can you sleep? How can you watch TV right now? Like, what? Because I'm the type of person when I'm feeling stressed, or when a challenge is facing me, I want to fix it. Like I want to go
Right.
until I can solve it.
And I like to slow down, think about what we're gonna do next, how we gonna get this solved. And I always say she's running through the house with scissors in her hand, just gone. And she always says, well, you half asleep, just running, you ain't even moving. Catch up. So that's why we work so good together. It's like a yin and yang. Like we balance each other off.
Right. But you got to understand that. You have to
Right,
know
know
that.
that.
You have to communicate that, because you could see it in a total different way. You could
Right.
see it in the wrong way. Like, again, I'm looking at him thinking he don't care
Right.
that we got this, and this. And he's looking at me like,
She
she
running
don't
to the
care.
fire again.
Right.
With no PPE on, just running in the fire.
Right. And like
Slow down.
all she cares about is doing her work. All she
Right.
cares about is this, and she ain't thinking about me. Which, again, neither one of us intended to send that message, but that was just our response to the stressful situation, right? Him kind of laid back. Let me think about it. Let me take a moment, pause. And I'm like, no, go. Let's get it. Let's get on 10 and let's figure this thing out.
Right.
So we had to meet each other in the middle. We had to talk about it. And then once he told me his viewpoint, and once I told him my viewpoint, then we were better able to understand and say, oh, okay. So you weren't trying to say you don't care. It's just
Right.
how you were handling that moment. Right. And for me,
And
again,
you do care. It's just that you were trying to put this fire out, put that fire out,
right.
put that fire, put that fire.
Exactly. So once we got, like I said, on the same page, we were better connected. So listen, that's number 9. We can recap our 9 ways to stay connected while social distancing. Number 1 again was prayer. Okay, it's late. All right, it was prayer. Number 2 was
create a schedule.
Number 3, unplug from electronics.
Number 4, talk about your dreams together.
There you go. Number 5, set boundaries for work and children.
Number 6, work on a project together.
Number 7, have personal time for yourself.
Number 8, go down memory lane.
And number 9 is understand how each person manages stress and communicate about that.
And number 9 could also stress over to understanding each other, like understand what makes your mate tick. Why does he do this? Why doesn't he do that?
Exactly. So we hope that this has been a blessing to you. We hope that it inspired you, that it encouraged you, that you were able to get something from it that you can take away and actually apply to your relationships so that you can build kingdom together. Ooh, build kingdom together. Right, babe?
Build kingdom together.
Anybody have any final thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, or anything like that? We appreciate you all really for, again, hanging out with us. We may need to come back on and do some more of these.
Yeah.
What do y'all think? What is it that you guys would want to hear us maybe talk about or explore? You can put that in a comment as well. If you have something that you would like us, an issue that you would like us to tackle, we'll put our heads together. We'll go in prayer and see what the Lord has to say about that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So, I don't know. You had anything else, babe?
No.
You want to share?
Good.
9 ways to stay connected to your spouse while social distancing. Very important. Stay connected. Remember that you and your spouse are one. You're no longer 2, but you're 1, and that nobody is, not even you and your spouse, should come in between that marriage covenant. Nobody should separate what God has joined together. All right?
Prayer schedules, unplug projects, set boundaries, understand stress.
Oh, she just recapped for us what it was.
Right.
There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Candace. We appreciate that. Again, it's not too late to share this broadcast with someone else on your timeline. And again, hopefully it'll be a blessing to someone. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this special edition of Dating the Kingdom Way.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So until next time,
pray well,
believe well,
serve well,
represent well, and all will be well with you. In Jesus' name, amen. This is Brianna Whitaker, and this is Russell Whitaker, and we're going to see y'all next time.